anyone out there who wants to go fast.
I want to go fast.
So you're fast.
That feels like an oversimplification.
If it's a fast chip, I am speed.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
You got my back, bro? Yeah. All right, man, put on the seatbelt.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Must go faster.
Remember the little red button?
Yeah?
Push the little red button. And you may want to put on a seatbelt.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Be good just to hold them down by your side. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Don't you wish all your cars had that little red button? Hi, everybody. My name is Jared Pike. I am the communications specialist for the School of Mechanical Engineering here at Purdue, and you're in for a treat today. For the first time ever in a live event, we are unveiling 3 student-built race cars which will represent Purdue at motorsports events happening across the country this summer. We're going to have the students come on stage and tell you a little bit about each car, and then afterwards you'll be free to come on stage and check them out yourself. The cars, not the students. Before we get to that, I want to briefly talk about the history of motorsports at Purdue, because our students have been building race cars for nearly a century, and really the automobile is in our blood. For example, in 1958, oh, that looks safe. In 1958, students began racing go-karts on an improvised track on campus, and that became the Purdue Grand Prix, which will have its 65th running next weekend. And then in 2010, we also organized the first ever EV Grand Prix, and that electric karting event happens the weekend of May 20th. Also, Purdue alumni have gone on to do great things in motorsports. For example, Chris Gabehart is the crew chief for NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin. Also, Jonathan Hassler, who is Ryan Blaney's crew chief, he's a Boilermaker. Of course, there's Purdue grad Ryan Newman, who for the longest time was NASCAR's only driver with a college degree. I don't know, is that a point of pride? I don't know. But being so close to Indy, we also have many of our alumni working in IndyCar garages. And on the left is Angela Ashmore, working on the Purdue Formula team in 2009. And on the right, you'll see she is now a full-time engineer for Chip Ganassi Racing. By the way, we did an in-depth interview with Angela, which is coming out next month as part of the official This Is Purdue podcast, hosted by our own Kate Young, who is here today. If you happen to see Kate, say, when's that podcast coming out? It's May 26th, I think. Is that right? Okay, good. So say hi to her, get some podcast swag, and pay attention to that story, because she is awesome. So, Purdue is the perfect place for students who are passionate about motorsports. Now, the race cars you're going to see today and the students you're going to meet are part of SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers. And every year, they sponsor something called the Collegiate Design Series, which invites university teams to compete on a number of different automotive platforms. Now, I know we started today with a goofy video about speed, But in truth, going fast is really only the final step. Driving the car is like 5% of the process. Really, it's the engineering we're celebrating today. Every part of every car you see on the stage was designed and built by students here at Purdue. Except for maybe engines or tires or shocks, these cars are 100% Purdue engineered. And these students have poured thousands of hours of work into these cars, most of it on their own time, after classes. So here's how a typical year goes for these students. In the fall, they recruit their team, and they delegate into sub-teams, and then they collaborate on the designs of the different subsystems of the car. And then in winter, they begin manufacturing the chassis and all the other bits and pieces. And boy, are there a lot of bits and pieces. The final assembly comes in the spring, and then after it's assembled, they begin doing some shakedown test drives. And then, after a full year of hard work, blood, sweat, tears, and elbow grease, they travel during the summer to these events, these SAE events, where they compete against other universities. And keep in mind, most of these students have summer jobs or internships, and so they specifically take the weekend off to travel on their own dime so they could be here and support their fellow team members. Now, I've been to several of these SAE race events, and they're really something to see. But they do test the mettle of an engineer. So, for example, if you've broken a steering column, like that one, and you don't have an extra one, and time is ticking, what do you do? What do you do, hotshot? You put it in a vise and bend it back straight. That's what you do. And then send the car back out on the track, which that really happened. Now, last year, our teams actually did really well because during COVID, it forced everyone to collaborate remotely. So that means they had to document their processes in more detail. In fact, that's a major part of the SAE competitions. It's not just the driving. Students have to give a design presentation and a business presentation to showcase the decision-making that went into their team's engineering choices. Now, this afternoon, you're just gonna get the highlights of that, but the amount of documentation it takes to present their final cars to the judges is just mind-blowing. So, speaking of mind-blowing, are you ready to see our first car? Are you ready? Yes! Our first team is Purdue Baja, and their task is to build a single-seat off-roader that can jump, climb over rocks and telephone poles and creek beds, and basically navigate any terrain you put in front of it. All of it using just a 10-horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine from a lawnmower. Now, Purdue Baja has a tradition of excellence, going back to their first competition in 1983 and continuing all the way through last year, when they converted their car from rear-wheel drive to four-wheel drive and finished top 10 in the world. And as you're about to learn, this year's car is even better. Ladies and gentlemen, Purdue Baja. They can build a car, but they can't take a cloth off. Here to talk about the 2022 Purdue Baja car is the president of Purdue Baja Racing, Matthew Keeble.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Viper. This is our newest car. Viper is a 390-pound Baja SAE vehicle featuring 13 inches of ground clearance, 10 inches of suspension travel. It also features a CVT transmission, custom gear reduction box, as well as a chain-driven four-wheel drive system. So this year, our team was able to cut 60 pounds out of last year's successful four-wheel drive car, improve the turning radius and cornering performance, and obstacle traversal. And these feats were also accomplished in our most aggressive timeline ever, with a completed car test ready by March 5th. So all this extra driving time has allowed us to find out that Viper can crawl an 18-inch wall of railroad ties, as seen here. It can also jump nearly 5 feet in the air without bottoming out. And it can corner just as well, if not better, than our previous two-wheel drive cars. So all this testing has increased our confidence in Viper, but it's also kind of resulted in some nasty breakdowns, one of which included our engine mounting tubes. So we were starting to wonder why our top speed was lacking, and then we gave our engine a little tug and found out that it could move quite a bit. So we're like, oh, what's going on here? Checked out the chassis tubes, found a nasty crack in both of them. That one you see there on the left actually was broken all the way through. So last week, we stripped everything off the rear, stripped off the powder coat, sadly, and welded back some gussets, some support, put it all back together, and then did a 3-hour mock endurance this past Sunday, where she held up just fine. So with that, I'd like to thank first Jared and Adam for putting together this event. It's been very wonderful for us to get the car together, and she looks pretty awesome. I'd also like to thank Todd Nelson, our alumni, Dr. Grohl for his support through ME, all the folks in ME, Jared, Darren Wilcoxon, John Wheeler, Pam Graff, Brian Kelly. They've been a big support of our team, along with Mike Logan, helping out with day-to-day tasks. I'd also like to thank the Purdue BIDC, helping us manufacture a lot of our parts, and we have a lot of parts because we also have a ton of spares as well, because we do break a lot of things. SAO and Bozo, and then especially our machining sponsors, Wirecut Technologies, Embry and Dana. We cannot make the cars without them. They are very near and dear to our hearts. And then also all our other sponsors, as you can see on the car. Without them and their support of our vehicle, we wouldn't be able to build such a miraculous piece of work right here, and then also give us all great experience in engineering moving forward with our lifetimes. One more thank you. The current team members. So I want to say personally, thank you for sticking out through this year. We've created the best, well, one of the best, if not the best Purdue Baja car there has been. And I'm very proud to be a part of the team and to have led such talented team members. So last year was really good for our team, but I think we're all very excited for what's to come this summer. So thank you.
Purdue Baja. Now, our next team is actually celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. Purdue Formula builds a single-seat race car that is basically a mini Formula One car with an internal combustion engine. Now, their competition really puts the car through its paces, testing the car on acceleration, braking, turning radius, and ending with a brutal endurance race. Last year, they actually raced twice. They raced in Las Vegas, and their gearbox failed with just a lap and a half to go. And so they came back to Purdue, did a complete teardown and engine swap in 11 days, and turned around and raced at Michigan International Speedway and finished third in the overall competition, which was their best finish ever. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Purdue Formula. Purdue Formula. Yes. Here to talk about the 2022 Purdue Formula car is President and Aerodynamics Team Lead, Tyler Green.
All right, thanks for that, Jared. Thanks for all the cheers. A little bit about our car. Has a 50 horsepower motorcycle engine in it, 450cc Yamaha single cylinder. Weighs about 390 pounds without a driver. All this gets you a car that'll do 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. It'll corner once it's up to speed, once the aero is working, at about 2.5 Gs. Just for reference, I mean, your Porsche 911, your sports car will do maybe 1.2, 1.3 on a good day. So 2.5 is a lot for our drivers to handle. It's a lot of fun to drive. A big way we got to this was we changed engines this year. Moved from a larger engine in our 2020 car, our PF20 vehicle had a 4-cylinder, 600cc engine, down to a single cylinder. We do lose some power, but save quite a bit of weight, 90 pounds lighter than last year. We also did a lot of work on our aerodynamics package. This car can drive upside down with a driver at about 55 miles an hour. If we could get some videos of that, we would be putting them up right now, but obviously not all that safe to do. And so as a result, it's pretty fast on paper, and it's been pretty fast on the track so far. We're doing our best times ever at the Grand Prix track and in testing. So speaking of testing, been doing a lot of it this year. We started out early, shoveling the Grand Prix track off. Yeah, it hasn't always been fun. It's been cold. We've tested in the rain and the wind. But so far, we've put over 280 miles on the car. We've been testing every single weekend since the start of spring break, including this weekend. We'll be taking this car out tomorrow to drive. So I want to give a huge thank you to all of our team leads, all of our team members who've helped out with it. Ever since the start of the year, we've had some late nights. We've had some all-nighters getting the car ready to test, and some late nights this week getting it ready for this event. But a huge thank you to all of them. We got some great people on the team, a really fun group of people, and really talented group of people to work with. I'm really excited to see what they'll be up to after Purdue Formula. I also want to give a thank you to some ME staff. First off, our faculty advisor, Todd Nelson, super helpful with the car and with items off the car. Don't know where we'd be without him. Thanks to Dr. Eckerd Grohl, the ME head, we've seen a huge improvement in our car over the last couple of years, and his support for our teams, for all 3 teams and the Formula team, has definitely been part of that. I want to give a big thanks to John Wheeler and Darren Wilcoxon of the ME Machine Shop, letting us get parts done pretty quick and helping us make parts that we otherwise wouldn't know how to make. I want to thank Pam Graff, Mike Logan, and Brian Kelly for helping us pass building inspections, getting our packages on time, all the small things that add up big time to make a car like this. And then lastly, all of our sponsors. There are a lot on the car. I'd be up here for a while if I thanked everyone individually, but every part of the car has been touched by a sponsor in some way, and thanks to the support of them, whether it's financial, donating parts, machining stuff, we get to work with some really cool hardware and make a really fast car. Like Jared said, last year we had a really great year. 3rd overall at Michigan is one of our best results ever. But I personally really think that with this car, with this team, with the testing we've been doing, the speed we're seeing out of it, I really think we got a chance at a podium or a win. So thanks again to all the team leads, all of our sponsors. Boiler up.
Thank you, Tyler. Yes, podium. Dang right. All right. Finally today, we all know that electric vehicles are the future, but building an electric vehicle from scratch, especially a race car, takes way more effort than just getting parts at AutoZone. You've got to have battery experts, controls experts, computer programmers, thermal management experts, and all sorts of other skill sets, in addition to building a traditional chassis and suspension. And that's exactly what Purdue Electric Racing does every year, building a car that's powered by 4 electric motors and a 300-volt battery pack. And the results are astonishing. They go from 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds with enough torque to tear your face off. Ladies and gentlemen, the future, Purdue Electric Racing. Look at that. You really need to see it up close, which you're going to get to do soon. Here to talk about the 2022 Purdue Electric Car is Chief Mechanical Engineer for Purdue Electric Racing, James Hofstadler.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited and proud to present Purdue's car for this year. This vehicle brings along a lot of firsts for the team. Our first all-wheel drive architecture, our first water-cooled battery, and the first time computer engineers ever walked into the ME building. But seriously, this car is not to be messed with. It features an 80 horsepower drivetrain that is intelligent enough to individually control the power distributed to each wheel. It does this every 15 milliseconds, which is 6 times faster than you can blink, and does it the entire time that the car is driving to optimize our cornering and our lateral acceleration through the turns. This power is transferred through our fully custom 2-stage planetary gearbox design that is so small it's able to be packaged within each wheel. The heart of our car, our battery, has also seen the biggest development in our team history, and is by far what makes our team stand out the most. It alone is composed of around 700 parts that must be manufactured and assembled by hand, and that's not even including the 1,290 wire bonds that all connect each little battery together and have to work to make the car run. Swapping to a water-cooled design has pushed our team further towards industry standards and allows our students the unique first-hand experience in managing high-voltage systems that you can't find anywhere else. On behalf of all of PUR, I'd like to thank a couple people. First of all, Todd Nelson for helping us out along the way, guiding us along the right path in keeping the team moving forward. I'd also like to thank Dr. Grohl, Darren Wilcoxon, John Wheeler, Pam Graff, Brian Kelly, and Mike Logan, who have all made our move to ME great and really a seamless transition. I'd also like to thank Dr. Perolis, SAO, Bozo, the BIDC, all the other colleges that support our team, and our industry sponsors that allow us to continually push the technical abilities of our car. Finally, I'd like to thank our alumni and current team members. Our team is only 9 years old, and to reach the technical heights we have is only possible due to the foundation of those that came before us. This car has been our project for the past 2 years, and I couldn't be prouder to lead this family through the late nights, heartbreaking failures, and soon to come joy when PUR 22 tears up the track. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Now, in a moment, you will have the opportunity to come on stage and see these cars up close and talk to all of these industrious students who built them. But to wrap up today's event, we want to hear from the managing director of Purdue Motorsports, Todd Nelson, and he isn't just their faculty advisor, he's also a former member. That's him back in 2002. No doubt pumping up the team like he still does to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Nelson.
Still look basically the same. As Jared said, my name is Todd Nelson. I've had the absolute pleasure of being the faculty advisor for these 3 teams for the past 5.5 years. As you can see there from the picture, I was heavily involved with Formula as a student when I was a mechanical engineering student back in the day. And the experience was just absolutely invaluable to me. I used what I learned pretty much every day in my 15-year career in automotive and aerospace. And so when Purdue actually offered me the job to come back here and said, would you like to be the faculty advisor as well? I almost fell off my chair. I thought it was a dream come true, and it has been. It's been absolutely awesome. So, as Jared said, all these teams compete in the Society of Automotive Engineering Collegiate Design Series, and to me, nothing provides a better experience on campus for these students than this. No other program helps them develop the professional skills that they gain here. They're basically running a race team or even a small engineering firm, and they build so many skills. They strengthen their engineering skills, as you can imagine, by building the cars and applying everything they've learned in their classrooms to design and build these. But they also gain an understanding of the importance of program management, so they can get all of this done in the tight timeline of 1 year and within their budget, which is essential. They also learn how to work with lots of different people and lots of different perspectives and lots of different opinions and how to figure out what to do and how to get it done and be effective. And then my favorite, they learn incredible leadership skills. They're such good leaders that they get college students to voluntarily give up most of their social life and a lot of sleep to work on these cars. In fact, they're so good that a lot of them won't even go home to visit their families over breaks or whatever. And how many leaders do you know that could convince people to do that? So they're incredible leaders, and it's just fun to be part of working with them. So because of all these skills, it's no surprise that employers come knocking at our door looking for these students. In fact, a lot of employers, when they start their recruiting, they just come straight to SAE first for the students because they build just these amazing skills that help them go be successful. We have students in motorsports, as Jared said, but we have them in automotive, aerospace, commercial vehicles, the energy industries, and everything in between. No matter where they go, they're incredibly successful, and it's just a pleasure to see it. So I can go on and on about our students, but you're probably already bored, and you probably just want to get up here and see the cars and talk to the students. So I'll work on wrapping this up. But before I do, I want to say a few thanks as well. The team had thanked all their sponsors, but I also want to give a personal thanks to the sponsors. The teams have to raise all their own money in order to build these cars, and it's not, it's not a small amount. And so we couldn't do this without our sponsors, and we just thank you for supporting us, believing in us, and helping these students develop these skills through these programs. We also have lots of supporters at Purdue that help in a variety of ways, everything from helping on the money side, but also technical skills, advice on how to machine things, giving us access to machine shops and fabrication labs, giving us the actual workspace to build the cars, testing resources, and on and on and on. So I just am so glad that, and I feel so lucky that we're part of such a great university that values our students' educational experiences and supports teams like this. So thank you to all the Purdue faculty and staff that have helped these students. Another group I want to thank that none of the students actually thanked is the parents, and I know there's some here today. I'm sure there's been many times where you've been frustrated with your son or daughter wondering why they're not coming home or calling you or visiting, especially during holidays or breaks or whatever. Well, I just want to thank you for putting up with the seemingly illogical passion of SAE. And I just hope you trust me when I tell you that their crazy dedication is totally worth it. Finally, I want to personally thank the students. Thank you for putting up with me as your advisor. Thank you for patiently listening as I tell you about all my harebrained ideas. Thank you for dealing with all my nitpicky suggestions on your presentations. And thank you for relenting when I stick to my old ways and force you to use Microsoft Project for your schedule. For all the ways that I'm sure I irritate you, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be part of your development, and it's been an absolute joy for me. And to the seniors specifically, I can't explain how proud of you I am and how much I have thoroughly enjoyed watching you grow over the past several years. Some of you I've known since you were freshmen, and it's been such a privilege to see you develop, and I hope I've contributed in at least some small way. I know you're going to be incredibly successful in anything you do, and I wish you the best. I hope you stay connected to the teams. I hope you stay connected to me, and I can't wait to hear about all your amazing accomplishments. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, I've held you back far too long from coming up and seeing these awesome race cars built by these amazing students. So again, thank you to everyone for coming to our first official unveiling of the SAE vehicles. Please feel free to reach out to me or any of the team leaders. We have the contacts up there for all the team presidents. We also have our website up there. You can reach us in any of those ways, and we'd love to hear from you. And so with that, let's conclude the 2022 SAE Vehicle Unveiling event, and I welcome all of you to come up on stage, see the cars, meet the students, and just kind of get a closer look at all this amazing work. So be careful coming up, and with that, boiler up, and thank you.